Okay, this is the highlight video from GreatStockPicks.com on Wednesday, December 19th. I'm going to lead off with my big one today, JCPenney's. This one we had on Bounce Watch, and it has a tendency to run, at least lately with the daily chart the way it is, when you get that high of day break. And so you had this, opening rally, and then it came down, tested the low of the day, but I really wasn't watching it. When it started to get near the high of the day, I noticed it, okay? And so I called it basically right over this area. If it gets up to 2064, worst case stop 2050. So only 14 cents risk. And here's what happened. Let me get the line off of there. There's the trigger. There's the high of day break. There's a little bit of selling, and then boom, it's off to the races. And look at that. When we're in something and we get a candle in our favor, and this is a steadfast rule in the chat room. Whenever you're in something, you're long, and it prints a candle like this, you don't do anything but sell, okay? You don't have to sell at all, but you know, a lot of people like to grab their calculator and figure out how rich they're going to be when they have a stock. They figure, oh, look at this move to 21, it's going to be 24 in the next 3 minutes. You know, you get that mindset, and before you know it, you get a reversal. So we are sellers into a big green candle in our favor. Now, you don't, like I said, you don't have to sell at all, but got a nice chunk off the table right into that pop. And actually, JCPenney's moved $1.05 in our favor, and the stop was 14 cents below. That was a big one for us. Smith & Wesson, SWHC, I made 2 calls in this one. The first one failed, and if you noticed, it it was a call. These are 5-minute candles. It was a call 15 minutes in. I usually like to wait till a half hour is expired before I start making calls. But anyway, having said that, this one's so beaten up, and then you had the gap up. I thought on a high of day break, this might go. So my idea was, I believe, 821, something like that, with an 810 stop trigger, and just didn't follow through and sold off. So there's like a dime loss. And then when it comes down and headed back up, I called it one more time using a method we teach at 811 with a, I don't know, 798 stop, something like that. And anyway, from 811, look at that. We got a big move there. It went all the way to 856, a 45-cent move in our favor. Stop was 15 cents below. I just saw it. I just read it. So 15 cents below. But you can see from the 811 trigger, was never in danger of stopping out. So there was 2 calls in SWHC. STX, one of our all-stars, Wayne, spotted it after the gap up when it was down here at the 5-minute candle, 20-period moving average. And because of Wayne's spot, I was able to make a call at 30.03 if it broke this red candle's high. Worst case stop right below these 2 candles. It doesn't look like much, but it ended up making it pretty quickly to 30.40 and ended up going to 30.60 ultimately. And so almost a 60-cent move in our favor. And again, this one triggered and was really never even close to stopping out. PAY, I went ahead and called this one. We had this on long watch because of the daily. It had this big 2-day sell-off and then a nice little kind of hammer candle here. So I just threw it on long watch for today. And you notice early on, and this is why we don't trade early. Early on, it spiked and broke the high of the day. I wasn't even watching it at that point. But look at the fake out there. All right, so then it puts in this base and then this pop, and now you've got a high of day to the left. High of day breaks always work better, later in the morning or in the afternoon than they do in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Don't be suckered into those. So, and then sellers came in. So I went ahead and called it over this area. The entry idea on STX, no, not STX, on PAY, sorry, was 29.23, and there's the trigger right there, and the worst case stop. 9 cents below, never got hit. And this thing grinded higher all day, went all the way to 29.73. All right, and then late in the day, I mentioned First Solar might give a nice trade over 33. And then right before it broke, I said, you know what, I'm done for the day. I'm going to cancel it. The market's too weak. And then look what happened. And I had people celebrating and thanking me. So we still had people get a 30 or 40-cent move there on First Solar late in the day, even though I canceled the trade. And I think that's about it. I did have a couple flat trades in VVUS and a dime loss in General Motors. General Motors I bought somewhere right about in here, I think, for a possible afternoon bounce after the big gap up. and got stopped out for a dime loss. So anyway, JCPenney, Smith & Wesson, SWHC, STX, PAY, all big ones today, are all at least very decent ones. And also LNG, I had a flat, and it went up. LNG went up about a dime from where I called it. Called it right about here, and it went up a little more than a dime. Never stopped out or anything. But that was it. We will. You know what? Not too bad either when you consider those were all longs. And look at the SPY grinding lower all day, and kind of a nasty finish. So otherwise, a pretty good day here. And I'm gonna quit babbling, and we'll put out a video tomorrow night. Have a good night.